I've gotten more mileage out of this straw in this video than anything else. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the reaction phase. We are on my homie's channel. Louis, what's up?
What up? I'm officially a homie. You texted me the other day. You were like, "What's up, homie?" Like it was Hometown TCG, and I was like, "I've made it. This is the pinnacle of my existence as a human. I am a Hometown TCG homie."
I have never felt more patronized than this moment
now. I've never felt more like a 1980s groupie for a rock star band than I do right now.
By being a homie?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems
that
like
was a 1980s term.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I don't know. Is that call gonna make the intro? I called my wife and said, "Hey, can you bring me some beer, please?" And
I've got clown shoes. You ever had clown shoes?
No, I have not. I have Lagunitas Daytime.
Cool. Well, yes. What are we talking about today, John? Well, hey, this is Reaction Phase. You can find us at thereactionphase.com. Actually, I think it's just reactionphase.com. I don't know. I never go there. But if you are looking for us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, is that the correct way to say that?
Let's go!
I
feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm gonna clash them both together.
I am only 40 episodes of Metazoo be with you in, and whatever episode this is of our podcast, and I've finally gotten it.
It's episode 9, dude.
Episode 9. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And next week is episode 10, the big 1-0.
Oh my gosh, it's like we should have a 10-year-old birthday party. We should show up with party hats. It'll be great. We can do Pokemon content. It'll be awesome.
We're adults that play with toys. We have a 10-year-old birthday party every single day.
It's a 10-year-old birthday party episode. We talk about Pokemon. There's Pokemon everywhere. It'd be great. All right, so what are we actually talking about today? Today we are actually going to talk about the new player product that was released. We still don't know all the details, but it was released this weekend. The Calling Indianapolis. We're going to talk about preparing for it and what the expectations are so far. And we're going to talk about Starvo and pretend like he doesn't exist. And we're going to talk about the flesh and blood world if Starvo didn't exist. We'll hit the market, and then we'll do the crazy comment collection. So what are we doing? Let's hop in and let's talk about the new player product. You've got 100%. A video coming out on this today.
Yes, I have a video coming out on this today. So if you haven't gone and watched that video, sorry, I need to keep like a cord here so I can it's the plug. I'm plugging. Right?
I'll link it right there. I probably won't remember it. I probably won't remember.
You absolutely will not.
I would totally do that if you remind me to.
It'll come out after your video, so it's fine. But you guys know where to find me. It's all fine. Everyone here knows where to find me. But I have a spicy take on this. But before I give my spicy take, I want to know, because this is kind of something you've been passionate about on this podcast. This whole concept of like a front door versus a back door. And I got to take my arms off my desk so I don't give the viewers the earthquake view. But what do you think of this product? Because this is kind of enabling. This is a front door into the game, right?
Yeah, I think this is a super good product that I hope the pricing on it is cheaper than I think it's going to be for stores, so that the price doesn't hit the $50 tag. We'll talk about that. That's obviously the side I don't like about it. But I think you've got a really great eye-catching product. The Blitz decks I used to have in my background, but the Blitz decks, you got them. They're pretty tiny. They're not super eye-catching. They're not super exciting. They're great intro tools. Do you not have any back there? Are you looking at me like
none at all? But I love the transition. Let's go, dude.
You kind of looks like you have one back there, but the Blitz decks are okay. They're great. Obviously, I did some videos on them and how to play, and I think it's those videos have over 70,000 views of new players. I hope new players looking into their 7 Blitz decks. So I think that's a great tool, but I think what Flesh and Blood's always been missing is a true, this is what you buy when you're a starting player. This is an easy to digest product and easy, I hope that that's what this is. Now, we don't know everything about it, right? We don't know cost for, from distribution. So we don't know where the price tag is going to actually line up. We don't know if the decks are fun to play against each other. We don't know if I assume all that stuff has been decided and looked into. We don't know that for sure, but I anticipate that that's the way it's going to be. So what are your thoughts?
So and spoiler alert, and if I say this now, just still go watch my video. I'm going to go way more in depth than I'm going to go here. I don't want to give all the spiciness away. I think this is the most important product in Flesh and Blood to date. And okay, before someone in the comments is like, well, the first product that made the game a thing is the most important. Like, yes, okay, sure. But this product is an opportunity to give people a gateway into Flesh and Blood, which currently does not exist. And what I think is most important with this product is nothing that you just mentioned. Nothing that you just mentioned, I think matters, in my opinion.
So
I think what matters for this product is a type of guide. Now, Magic the Gathering did this in what was called a starter edition product. And this is what I've reached out about making content about this. This is something I want to do if they're not already doing. This product needs to come essentially organized, or the top 15 cards, the top 12 cards are organized in a fashion where when two players are at their LGS and they buy the product off the shelf, I don't even care how much it costs. I don't care about that. When you buy it and you open it, I want a guide to be like, stop.
It's a stop. Don't play. Yes. Don't shuffle.
Don't shuffle.
I remember that. I remember that the first time I was like, no, I'm not going to stop Magic. I'm going to shuffle it.
But it's going to let people who want to experience Flesh and Blood be able to experience Flesh and Blood without Flesh and Blood players necessarily around. Now, cool. Are they going to be experts on the game right away? Absolutely not. But does your LGS owner have to know to play Flesh and Blood? No. Do you have to have an expert at your store to teach someone how to play Flesh and Blood? No. Do you have to have pre-con decks sitting on the counter that people can pick up and then someone has to walk them through? No. Someone can buy this product off the shelf as someone who has never played Flesh and Blood, or yet never played a TCG, which is just as important, and play and experience this game. I think if that is the case, this product has an opportunity to be a home run. If it's not, are we just looking at blitz decks with stuff in there marketed for people like me to buy who want things that aren't in blitz decks?
And honestly, that's been the community's response to it so far. People are like, oh, I'm so excited for a new Dory and Blitz. I'm like, first of all, you haven't even seen the Dawn Blade, so you don't even know if it's going to be good.
It doesn't matter. That's cool. What you're saying is cool, but the Dawn Blade doesn't. No, come on, man. It's cool. It's not for the highest competitive cool, but for people who are just playing at the Armory, playing Blitz, it's a cool new hero. It's neat.
Okay, but like the conversation about it has not been for the new person, and that's what drives me nuts. And like I think everything you're saying is like, I think I would go one step above as somebody who loves video editing, and like I hope that there's a QR code you scan on it and it takes you to the Flesh and Blood website or the Flesh and Blood YouTube channel, and there's hey, this is the first 2 turns and you can hold the cards and play against it. It would be even better if they would work with content creators like, I think what you're saying, work with content creators like you or whoever.
Are you soft leaking the fact that I reached out to LSS
and
said,
You just said that.
I said I want to make this content if it doesn't exist because I think it is so important.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like that's a huge way. Like everyone who ever buys board games or new cards, like, sorry, that's a blanket statement, but most people will search how to play, a board game. They'll search how to play this game, and then they'll watch a video on it. They don't read rule books. Like in most rule books now say, don't read the rule book. The rule book's boring. Here's a QR code. Scan this, and it takes you to a video.
You don't need to be able to read the rule book to play Flesh and Blood. And okay, that's a horrible statement, but you don't have to read the rule book cover to cover to play Flesh and Blood, to attack and defend, and attack react and defense react.
Right.
The core of the game. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. I do. I love that they've chosen 2 heroes to focus on. Like, I do think that's really cool. I kind of, I think previously was more like, hey, I hope we see the other heroes. My take a couple weeks ago was like, I think we'll see them kind of slowly come out like that. This is going to be one of those products that's super interesting. Like, if they did put, like, a lot of people are saying, justifying the price tag of $50 by saying they're going to put key reprints in the set and there's cold foils. And like, I still think the product's too expensive. And a lot of people have said that. That's not just been me. I still think $50 is too expensive. I hope that the price, I have no clue. I have not seen any order form from it has not gone out as pre-order yet from distribution. So I have no clue what the price is. I hope the pre-order price for distribution for stores is like $15 to $20. And so
then they can sell it at like 30 or 40 even.
$25.
I don't think 40 is bad because it's like, let's say it contains some key reprints and you're buying it with a friend, right? If you're buying it for its intended perfects, it's $20 a person. That's not bad. For a new game, that's not bad.
The interesting thing is going to be, do you see reprints in it? If you do see Command & Conquer in it, my fear is that if they didn't print enough of them, it's just going to get scooped up by stores. Stores are going to buy them, crack them, and sell them as singles. And that's not the point of this product. And so I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they printed it to oblivion, and that this is something that sits on shelves and is a way for people to learn to play a game.
This product needs to sit on this. Yeah, this product needs to sit on the shelf. So the next one you just talked about, right? You said there might be another pair of heroes that come out. I would think we want this product to sit on the shelf until the next one comes out.
Yeah, and then
so there's always one, right?
Don't get me wrong. I think that this is a great product for everyone. I think I will want one of these. I'll want to sit down with Robbie and do a is it fun video like I've done with all the other TCGs that I cover. I think it'll be fun to hop in and look at it in that way and experience it. Hey, Legions, nice. I think it'll be fun to experience it in that way and look at it in a bubble. I think that's a really fun thing. Yeah. I hope that they do a bunch of them over the next couple months, and then in 2 years we have a box set that's some sort of super. Every card is cold foil edition. You know what I mean? Some sort of super duper collection. Magic Dual Decks had the Dual Deck anthology thing. I think that's
so. You want a collector's booster box?
No, I want I'm saying if you make this a thing that's entry level for all people and it's not collectible now, that doesn't mean that you can't do a collector's version of it in the future. So you have 2 heroes here. At the end of it, you have all 8 heroes from Arc and WTR, and you throw it into a collector chest. Classic Battles collector chest that has that has alternate art in the cold foil and alternate art, and then it has a bunch of different, I don't know, you can do fun stuff with it. It comes with comes with some sort of dice or something like that. That's really cool. And I think there's a way to make this for collectors in the future that then even as a new player that hopped into this product early on, you're excited about that in the future and when it comes out. So
or if this is your front door experience, what if it builds that nostalgic feeling like you have and I have for Welcome to Wraith, right? For the Farewell to Wraith, we had this this awesome nostalgic feeling about discovering this game. What if this is your front door moment, and then down the road they introduce a re-release of this product with special edition and alternate art stuff? You have that nostalgia. Oh my gosh, this is what got me into Flesh and Blood. I have an opportunity to pick that up. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think it's a great product. I think it's a really I hope that it's not just 2 blitz decks and a lore book. Honestly, I hope that the prices not ever hit $50.
I hope that too. But again,
even as a store owner, I'm not going to charge. If I have to charge $50 for this, I'm probably just going to sell blitz decks. I'm probably going to continue to just make intro level blitz decks and give those away.
Right.
I'm probably not going to carry this product. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to carry it as a new player product if it's $50. If it, you know what I mean?
You have to remember it is $25 a person, right? Because it's meant to be. Okay, but the game has to be played with a friend. It's meant to be purchased that way. A booster box isn't necessarily meant to be purchased that way. This product is meant to be purchased for 2 people.
Okay.
No, you're not a fan of that?
I mean, come on, man. Magic the Gathering dual decks were they were $25 and they raised the price to $35.
Yeah, but
they didn't have cold foils in. I know.
No, but Flesh and Blood tries to capture that essence of people's first introduction to Flesh and Blood was the essence of you can buy the box and sit on it for a year and it'll be $1 million, right? That's part of that's part of like the thing. And I know we're transitioning away from that. I just don't want you to get your hopes up for like the less than $50.
Oh, my hopes are not up for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my hopes are not up for that.
I think they're still getting maybe not getting away from that, but they're still like transitioning the model, and I don't think that's just going to be a light switch that's flipped, right? I think I agree with you, especially when you compare it to player products. It's cool.
I don't particularly think we need a collector's version of a blitz deck, and if this is a collector's version of a blitz deck, I just don't know what the point of this product is. I don't think that that's their goal. My guess, honestly, is that the cold foiling process and the lore book, Legend Story Studios does not do things lightly. They don't. Yeah, they don't. They're not going to throw in a little. They're not going to throw in a paper backed, like, it's just not going to be like it's not going to be like a pamphlet. It's going to be a nice looking booklet, probably, or maybe even bound. I don't know. Like, my guess is that stuff is expensive, and the question will be, does that stuff make it exciting for a new player? And that very well might be. So I got a question for you. The issue is that the person walking into an LGS doesn't care about that yet. They'll care about that once they purchased it, once they've opened it, once they've played. They'll look at the lore book and be like, oh, this is really cool. But somebody walked into my store the other day. It was actually the guy who was reinstalling some internet there. Like, he was like, my router broke, so he like came and like was giving me a new router. Okay. And he's like, what is all this stuff, and why don't you have Yu-Gi-Oh? I was like, I don't carry Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh is not my thing. Because I don't like going broke. Like, you gotta have Yu-Gi-Oh, man. But anyway, and I was like, well, why don't you check out this? And I handed him a blitz deck, and he was like, well, like, I mean, like, I'm not gonna like buy into a new game. I was like, I mean, that's fine. Like, are you gonna buy Yu-Gi-Oh? He's like, no, I just play the old Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I was like, well, then I'm not going to carry Yu-Gi-Oh, first of all. But then, and so what I did is I just gave him a blitz deck. I was just like, hey, here's actually gave him two. I gave him a first one's free, dude. I gave him a Lexi and an Oldham blitz deck. That's sick. It's like $10-15. Like, it's no big deal for a store to just be like, hey, here's the thing. But like, this is a $50 product. I'm not going to be able to just give it. So like, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That person wouldn't even spend $12, whatever a blitz deck is. I don't even know how much they are. I don't even have them labeled. I just have them like on the back. I usually don't sell them. Like, that person wouldn't even pay $7, $10 for a blitz deck. Like, that new person is not going to spend $50 to hop into a new game. Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair, right? But is that a person then? We talk about this game as being a front door product. Is that a person then that even comes into the front door? Maybe not. Like, even if you could give him this stuff for free. Like, let's say I gave him a tier 1 constructed deck worth $1,000 or something like that, and he's like, cool. But then as soon as the game evolves and moves on, he's not going to buy a new product or keep up with the game anyway. So there's to me, maybe there's not the value I'm seeing there, right? Yeah, I'm seeing more value in. Fair point. But I harken back to wow. Ooh, I harken back. Wow. Welcome to the reaction phase. My name is Joshua. So we on PBS. John got me into Flesh and Blood. John, who used to be on the channel all the time, got me into Flesh and Blood, and then he bought me. I had never opened first edition product before, and Crew went out of print when I was like learning to play Flesh and Blood. Never had any, and then he was like, "I'm at a game store, and they let you buy 10 packs of Crew at $3 a pack." And he bought me 10 packs of Crucible of War and brought them back to me. I gave him $30, and he let me open them. And I opened a cold foil Talishar in just random 10 packs, and I was ecstatic. And for the longest time, that card, like having a cold foil in Flesh and Blood, like tied me to the game. It was part of like, I would look at it and it was trash, right? It's Talishar. It's horrible, but it was trash. Excuse me, my Shiana Ultimate Pit Fight deck loves Talishar. I stand by what I said. and ditto for your Shiana Ultimate Pit Fight. I'm pretty sure I beat you with that deck, to be honest. I don't think you did. I'm pretty sure I won that game.
I'm pretty sure you just like 4v1 to me with your not on the same team guys that happen to be on the stream. We're way off topic, which is not, you know,
we're reacting to like 5 different things right now.
Yes, but that tied me to the game. And if this new product gives you like a taste of the Blitz deck, but also like a taste of that side of the Flesh and Blood world, because cold foils are something that makes Flesh and Blood special. It could be something that instead of you giving that Blitz deck to the player who's going to go in the front door and out the back door, this is something that kind of, they feel an attachment to this thing. It ties them to it and maybe gets them a little invested, not necessarily financially invested, but like emotionally invested, and they like this product. So don't you think like having something chase in there is kind of cool?
I mean, I think having cold foils in there is brilliant and super smart. That's not the argument, though. I mean, I like that. That's not
the cold foil can't have like no value because that's a core point.
That cold foil will not have any value.
That's probably true. You're probably
the cold foil will not have, and that's not what you just said. What you just said is it's the look. It gets them into
and
no, like
you're right.
Don't
get
me wrong.
You're right.
I guess I should have said this. Having cold foils in it is if this didn't have cold foils in it, I would be saying, why on earth doesn't this have cold foils in it? That's what I would be saying, because it should have cold foils in it. I just don't buy that cold foils make it worth $50. Like that's what I just don't buy. And like again, like $50 is great for some people. There are people, I agree with you, who spending the money on it will get them in it. And like the other side of this is that you also have the Blitz decks there, which is great. And like that's awesome. I just wish it was $35. That's it. That's all. That's where I'm leaving it. That doesn't make it a bad product. I just wish that the price was $35 on it.
I see it. I could see it. I could see an argument for that.
And I'd be willing to sacrifice something to make it $35. Reprints of Command and Conquer and E-Strike, I'd much rather have this be $35. And first off, we don't know if there's even reprints in there.
We don't know. There's a lot. This is all speculation.
That's been the speculation of why they made the price point the way that it is.
Right.
Was that there is this in there. My guess though is that that's not true. The price point is there because of the lore book and because of the cold foil process, and because of the packaging.
How many people do you think the lore book? Oh, that's such
no
an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Do you think there are certain people that because they get the lore book are more invited to stay, to not leave the back door because they have the lore book? Because my initial reaction here is if I'm going to take anything out of that product, and let's say it does contain a CNC and an E-Strike reprint, it's $50. Throw the lore book in the garbage. That's just my personality. I'm not a lore guy. But
just gonna say, literally what I was just gonna say is my biggest fear is that lore book ends up in the garbage.
Well, because I'm not a lore guy, I'm asking someone who might either be or know lore people. Is that something that actually creates, the same attachment I felt with a cold foil? Does that lore, does it have an opportunity to create that attachment? And if it does, it's a good include. If it doesn't, if 99.99% of the time it's going to be cast aside or put on my shelf behind me to look cool, to me, that's the thing I want cut out of the product.
Did you play Pokemon when you were a kid?
Yes, but the problem was I played Pokemon. I didn't collect Pokemon.
Did you play the Pokemon video game?
Yeah.
Did you keep your booklet?
No,
you didn't. See, I kept my Pokemon booklet.
What's a booklet?
In the box, you got a book, like a trainer's manual. I had that thing next to me every time I had my Game Boy.
That's kind of cool.
I probably still have mine from when I was a kid somehow.
Okay, so the lore book has an opportunity. If you had never seen Flesh and Blood, there's an opportunity for the lore book to closely tie you to the product.
The question is, how many people are like me? Like for me,
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, for me, the lore book is super cool. I also spent, 18 hours editing each one of my lore book series videos, and they got like no views. Like nobody was ever interested in it. Like my box openings at the time would get like 500 views, and my lore series videos would get like 200. So like the average person doesn't care about the lore of the game that they're playing.
But I don't know if we've declared in Flesh and Blood, we've declared that, and this has been the blanket statement by all of the callings are our main thing, right? That's what we're promoting, all of the events. The main thing with Flesh and Blood is gameplay, right? Yeah. Whether we like it or not, that's what they're leaning into. They're saying, we don't need the marketing. We don't need any of that. It's you play the game and you're hooked. And so the lore book is kind of a step aside from that. It feels like, hey, This is focused around the gameplay, but if it's more expensive because of the lore book, it's either them reaching out and saying, hey, gameplay and also we're going to hook you this way, or it's just a misstep saying we're focused all on gameplay, but we randomly included this throw in. I don't know. It's going to be super interesting. I think it's the most important product. I 100%. I think it's more important than any set that can pre-release this year. I think this product is the most important. And then just a small side note, Blitz decks have always been inherently flawed to me only because they come in singletons, and that can be good. But I kind of want to force this to be a two-person thing. I want you to buy it with two people in mind, because if you go in and you buy a Blitz deck by yourself, if that Digimon guy bought a Blitz deck, he probably never plays it with anybody, looks at it for 5 minutes, and then forgets he owns it.
Yeah, the Blitz decks are a great product. This is a step up from Blitz decks. So like I honestly see the Blitz decks as what really are the Ira deck. But I see the Blitz decks as Magic the Gathering's like free starter decks that they give LGSs. And like that's what I see Blitz decks as. I don't like locally, I never sell Blitz decks. I just give them away.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if a ton of people are selling Blitz decks.
When I buy them from distribution, I consider it a marketing cost.
That's fair.
The 2-player start, the classic battles thing, I consider that like
that's a gateway.
I think that's a gateway. I do. I understand the idea of spending money on a gateway. I don't want it to be free. I'm not saying that.
Right. But there is a point. I see what you're saying. There's a point where it's just too much.
If I'm a person looking into a new TCG, $50 when I can buy a booster box for $65, I'm going for the booster box for $65.
But with the booster box, you can't, and that's why again we're all the way back at my point. The booster box is cool, but if you bought this and it walks you through playing the game, then as that new player, this has more value to you.
So what I think I love, let me restate some things that I love. I love the idea that the lore book is going to be high quality, and I think that's a win. Like I think if you open this and it's like all really high quality, like the cold foil, it's all really high quality. It has an intro video, like you're saying, that's really well edited. I think my opinion is that LSS should have taken some money from whatever they have delegated towards marketing, which they probably need more money delegated towards marketing, and said, okay, we're going to take a loss on this product. We're going to make this product an amazing product. Store prices stores are going to be able to make barely any money on it. It's not for stores to make money. It's for stores to also consider more like a, not break even, but like a okay with making $5 off of it or whatever. And LSS take a little bit of a hit on this product. And you know what I mean? Like it's a $35 product. Maybe stores make $5 off of it, and maybe LSS loses money on it. And it's a way to make this like a really, really good advertisement for their game. That's how, if I was running the company, I don't know anything about their books, I don't know anything about their financial status, but that's what I would do to make this because everyone who comes from Magic the Gathering is going to see dual decks. That's what they're going to see when they look at that. They took the same packaging from Magic dual decks. They took the same package. That's what this is. So it's going to be compared to a dual deck from the consumer point of view. So
100%. And I think you're right. What I would like to see is I don't know. And this is me. Again, this is 100% my opinion. I'm completely biased. I would like to see no lore book. I just get rid of the lore book and lower the price point, whatever that lore book is worth. I love the fact that it's a 2-player product, and I need to see supplemental material for this product. I need you and your homie, if you will, to be able to buy this at the LGS, and then I need you to be able to sit down. Maybe you have to pull out your phone, right, and figure out how to play this and find something that points you, whether it's a document in the product, whether it's something on your phone that points you to how to play with this product. So that you can walk through it, and then you can sit there by yourself and lose track of time with your friend and play this product. I truly think it's the most important product that we're going to have at least this year.
Yeah, 100%. I hope they've done that so that when this comes out, there's that video available on launch.
Yeah,
that's important. Like that, like 3-4 weeks after launch of this product, it's going to be too late for that. So
it does. It feels too late, right? Because then it's got to be moved to the back of the shelf now. It's something. It's always there. It's old reliable. But
suggestion for LGSs: take one of these kits, open it, sleeve up the decks, keep the packaging nice. Your first package on your shelf, have that be the one. When somebody comes and looks at Flesh and Blood, be like, check this out. Pull it out, let them rifle through the decks, sit down, play a game with them. Honestly, Magic the Gathering has stands, like they're plastic tables, basically. That's like a learn to play Magic the Gathering at this table, basically. Sit down, play with the opponent there, teach them, and then be like, hey, if you want to buy this is a great entry level into the game. And
that would all be, again, more supplemental stuff. Yeah.
Dude, sell it $35 because you get because you get that person in.
Sure.
You get that person in and they're going to buy more stuff from you from the future.
So. Sure. I guess. So I don't want to be seen on the wrong side of this issue. And again, I've either already explained all this or it's out later today, but I think that this has to be at a reasonable price point. And the only reason that when you threw $50 at me, I was like, maybe that's okay, is because it creates that pull of now I don't want to say you're trapped, right? But it's kind of what it is, right? It's like I spent $25 on this, me and a buddy, or after tax, probably closer to 30, right? But you make a good point. So I'm completely, while $50 is that is high, but at least it creates that attraction. I am all for this product being less. So I don't want you to or the comment section or anyone on the internet to have that misconstrued. I think this product should be cheap. I just don't think $50 is a complete deal breaker in my mind.
I don't know if it's a deal breaker it's like the issue is it's not a deal breaker for 50% of people.
50%, but it's the other 50% of people, right?
Listen, I know people who can't afford a $50 box like this. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to sit from my mountaintop or anything like that.
I know Magic players who much rather have 2 fetch lands than this.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I don't know,
right.
So I don't know, there's a lot of that stuff. So anyway,
yeah,
I think it's a great product. I hope $50 is MSRP. That doesn't mean your LGS has to charge $50.
And all of Flesh and Blood always sells at MSRP all the time.
Yeah. MSRP for an Everfest box is $100 and they're selling for $80. So realistically, this could be $50 on MSRP and selling for $35. I hope that's able to do. I hope that LGSs are able to do that.
That would be cool. I would love to do a series on this. I'd love to even hang out with you and play these decks. If we got one, it would be so fun just to crack them, sleeve them, shuffle them, and play.
Dibs on Reiner. Dibs.
Dory was the first hero I ever played.
Reiner. I don't want to play Dorinthia. I hate Dorinthia.
John used to play Reinar. Dude, I am so used to smashing brutes with a warrior. This is going to be so easy mode. Oh my God. Anyway, I want to make sure that everyone knows that I wasn't like, no, it has to be expensive. No, Team not at all.
Team Cat's Eye. All right, here we go. Next topic. The calling Indianapolis preparations. I am not going, so I am not preparing.
Dude, that's the biggest bummer when you told me you're not going and you're like, oh, I have real life responsibilities and family and people who love me. I was like, oh, great, rub it in, and I won't see you there.
I have my entire life booked through this year.
That's that's super impressive. You're a super together dude. I don't have tomorrow. I don't have tomorrow booked.
I'm not a super together dude. I don't like paying more money than I have to for airline, so I always plan my trips. And also, my family. I come from my parents are divorced, so I have to appease both human beings in my 3 families, my wife's family, and then these other 2 families.
Yep.
And my sister lives in California. We're going to visit her. So this year we're just
are you taking the whole family? Are you taking the kids?
We're going to Disney in April. Yep.
The whole family.
Yep.
How old's the oldest? How old's the youngest? Because I have a theory here. How old's the oldest? How old's the youngest?
Oldest is 2, youngest is 6 months. So
2.
She's almost 3. She gets it. She watches Mickey Mouse Clubhouse every day.
Sure, but that's the bottom of the cusp, right? Because you're gonna spend a good amount of cold foil money. On this Disney trip.
It's Disneyland.
Yeah, the one in California. Whichever the California one.
We're going for a day. We're not We're not
No,
like
dude, I understand. You don't love your family enough to give them the Orlando Disney experience. You give them the knockoff, like you don't have to say it. I'll say it for you. But 3, what I was trying to say is like 3 is like, or almost 3 is like, it's like that cutoff where you want them to remember it because there's so much effort and so much financial commitment to this Disney thing.
Yeah.
And then like in 2 weeks, they're like, I have no idea what we just did. Ooh, look, a slide. Like, you're like, oh no, why'd I do that? It's more for you, right? So admit that. It's for you and Mrs. Kitchen Table.
Not for me, definitely for Mrs. Kitchen Table.
Sure.
Like our 3-year-old will love it. She's like, I don't want to like brag on my child, but I will. She's advanced. No, she's like, yeah, she talks. From her mom. She talk, yeah, for sure. She talks and watches. She's ready to go to Disney, and like she's ready to get the autograph. She's excited for that. But yeah,
is she gonna have you? Okay, you order her Disney character cards, like trading cards, that she can get signed, and you can put in the hard sleeves like Dad has.
Yeah,
how cool would that be?
She collects Pokemon cards already.
That's pretty. Of course she does.
Yeah, she collects Pokemon cards, and then she'll like when she comes in here, she'll look at the cards and she says, when I'm older, I can have those cards. Because she always tries to like take these cards off my shelf, and I say, no, honey, you can't have those now. But when you're older, you can have them. They'll pay for your college. And I say, when you're older, these are for you. Like all my Magic sealed products, I'm like, these are for you. When you're older, you can pay for a house with them. Like that's the whole. Anyway.
Oh God, that's a stretch. Oh, that's maybe.
No, it's not. It's not a stretch. Should we put a down payment on a house with my TCG collection?
First homeowner loan or whatever. I can put down payment on a house for $20. Like
if you kept Magic boxes from 20 years ago,
your kid's not gonna have a house till they're 22. She's advanced. This kid's gonna have a house at like 16. She's gonna realize she's done with your stuff.
Okay,
she's out of here.
The Calling Indianapolis. What are you excited for, man?
I think this is an awesome opportunity to like get together, see everyone again. I've been a huge fan of these calling events, and we've talked about it till I'm blue in the face on here. Like, I know it's centered around this nucleus of this main event, but all the side events, everybody just hanging out, people meeting for the first time. I meet members of the Hometown TCG Patreon in the community and the Discord. We all go out to dinner and stuff like that. Like, meeting those people is just such a cool experience. It's like I don't know. It's like the adult version of field trip day at school, right? It's the adult version of like, ooh, I get to go hang out with my friends and have this field trip and enjoy the things that I like. And it's a cool field trip too, like the water park, not something super lame like the art museum or something, lame. So no, I think it's gonna be sick. I'm worried about the numbers. That's something that stresses me out. I haven't come up with a number, and I'll ask you that, a number of what like I will envision as a good event. But I think there's going to be a cool opportunity here with MTG and Flesh and Blood both present at the same event for Flesh and Blood to maybe pull like some interest, right? So it's a really cool opportunity for Flesh and Blood to maybe like, oh wow, that's if there's enough people, it's a big enough event. Oh, what's going on over there? If it's close to the size of any of the Magic events, oh my gosh, what is this? What's this game?
So yeah, numbers. That's what I was actually literally pulling up while you were talking.
I just figured you were on your phone and texting, like you're done with my opinion.
I was texting. No, I was pulling up. So there are, because you posted this in your Discord server, which I am a loyal patron of Hometown TCG, and viewer, you should also support Josh at Hometown TCG.
We have this Viserai Masterclass coming out this week. Team Ascent is doing a masterclass this week. Let's go.
So I saw your post and I was like, oh man, they're sold out, but it wasn't super accurate. I don't want to rag on you.
It's the packages.
Yeah,
it was meant to be for the packages. I know, and people want the cool stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a package that one's capped at 300.
Yes,
257 people registered. Then there's another package that might not have the main thing. I don't know. Anyway, there's only 9 people registered for that.
But I think that one doesn't get you entry into the calling.
Okay, perfect. That's why I just said
those are all the side event tickets and stuff.
And then there's the where you're battling with a friend. What's that called?
Is that the battle hardened?
No, that's
No.
different.
Are you talking about the Blitz event, the 3-headed giant Blitz event or whatever?
Yeah, it's like hold on, let me pull it up. Team Blitz Beatdown. There are 7 people signed up for that. And then the other one is the regular ticket, and there's 59 with is just the calling. So it looks like about 300 people are signed up for the calling. This is this weekend. I can imagine you're probably gonna get another 200 registrations. So you'll
wow, really?
I mean, I hope so. I don't know. Like, if we like, I hope so.
I do too, dude.
Like, I hope so. Like, the issue is, I don't know how much of the side stuff fires. Like the Blitz beatdown, the Blitz battle beatdown, the 2-player thing. There's 7 people. How many do you need to fire that? And like, I'm not sure that that's gonna fire. And like, that's where this is like.
But how many of those people signed up day of?
So like, let me back up. I'm only saying this because I know somebody who I know somebody who went to the last one. They signed up for some of the events that didn't fire on the first 2 days because everybody was playing in the calling. Everybody was playing in the critical mass wasn't there for like the fun side event stuff. And like, I hope that's different. I'm just not sure that the promotion has been for that. Like, when I see the calling, I'm like, I'm gonna go play in the calling, and like, that seems to be the promotion for this. And I think 300 people playing at the calling when you have a Magic tournament next door or in the same building is awesome, and it's great marketing to that demographic.
I think so too.
But I do not think you should anticipate there being like a massive amount of people at that thing.
I mean, what's a massive amount of people? I think there's going to be enough to make it feel like a big, good event. What was it? The Calling Cincinnati, I think, was the last one I went to. And what was it at that one? There was like 400, and it definitely felt like a room full of people. Like, it felt good. There was no negativity there. Like, I didn't walk out of that place like, oh my God.
How many did you say were there?
I thought it was like 400, but maybe I'm wrong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I've already been corrected. It's the internet. But there was like 400 people there. That didn't feel bad. So if we can get 400 or 500 here, I think that's definitely good. And it's not in a key place like Orlando. It's not in Vegas. And this is not anything negative against Indy, but it's harder to use your vacation days not to go to the beach. You know what I'm saying?
So what is the main Magic thing? The team constructed?
Sure.
No, 249. So there's 200. That's the main event. There's 249 people registered for the team constructed Magic thing. So there's the same amount of people. So it's great.
Yeah, I think that's going to be cool. And I think it's a lot of pull, right? To pull people over kind of, I guess, to the dark side, if you will. But as far as going to this event and prepping for it, it depends on what your flesh and blood experience, what you want your flesh and blood experience to be. Speaking for the guys, Team Hometown TCG Ascent, those guys are getting together and they're jamming games. They've built all the decks that they've seen in the meta, that they've heard in the meta. They're monitoring all the different Facebooks, Discords, and they're building these decks, and they're just jamming playtest games. So that's their experience.
Play against Kano?
They did play against Kano. I don't know how it would have gone at Compete Sport, but
did they decide to bring Nullrune to the game?
They did. I don't want to leak any strats.
I feel like that shouldn't be a strat. I feel like you should just bring Nullrune, but okay.
We're not. I'm not going to get into a theoretical, tactical discussion with you. It's going to go in one ear and out the other, and you're going to tell. Yeah, you're going to tell me you're not interested.
I want you to know that I know more about Flesh and Blood than you think I do.
I that is not true. I know you know. I said in one ear about out the other because you don't care about it. I didn't say because you don't know it.
Ouch.
That's not how you. And this is what I was just saying that you didn't let me finish. You don't like to experience the game that way. You like to experience the game in a different way than the high level competitive players that are grinding out every ounce and squeezing every ounce of juice out of this orange. You like to get together with your buddies and play Flesh and Blood and play the heroes you like. That's and fair. Try Shyana Talishar decks. That's what you like to do.
Cheyenne is going to win the ProQuest.
I will. How much money do you have to bet on that? Okay. But this is what I'm saying. It depends. Your prep depends on how you like to experience the game. So none of this was a shot at you. But if you like to experience it, okay.
Are people anticipating that the ProQuest season is a accurate depiction of what's going to happen at the calling?
I think for the most part, yes, they're assuming that. I do think that serious competitive players have things up their sleeve, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I do think that not all the spice has been shown, but I think that the vast majority of people will be expecting what they've seen to exist at the calling.
Okay. Interesting.
Are you going to let me... Oh, okay.
I agree.
Are you going to let me finish telling about how you want to prep for this?
Yeah, tell me how you want to prep for it. I thought you were going to do that.
No, you asked me how I would prep for this, and I was telling you it depends on your experience. If you're a high-level player, you're going to prep by jamming competitive games. If you're a low-level player, you're going to pick what you like that can compete in the meta to an extent. You understand you're not going to win first place, and you're going to go there, and you're going to try to make out plays, and you're going to have fun, and you're going to spend the weekend with your friends, and you're going to enjoy yourself. That's what I think. But
do you have any places picked out in Indianapolis to eat?
Is this like a fat comment?
No, listen, the first thing I would do to prep for the Indianapolis is to make some, if I could do one thing, this is the best piece of content on this channel right now. If you are going to the calling Indianapolis, stop playtesting right now. Put the deck aside, find your phone. This is what I wish I would have done in Vegas. Make some reservations today for where you want to go. Did you know that there is a massive, there's something going on in Indianapolis this weekend?
I did. I don't know what it is, but this
March
is
Madness.
Yes, yeah. It's gonna be insane in Indianapolis. The flesh and blood community is not ready. I saw that too.
We do. The first one was on Super Bowl. This one's on March Madness. What's the next major United States sporting event? Can we throw that in there?
Say we need an American division of LSS. We need somebody over here like, hey, these are just, and they're not wrong. And I'm not saying this is not one of those you have to bend to all American culture, but it would be nice if someone gave them the info like, hey, these are probably bad weekends throughout the year. Like,
why do you guys play so many sports?
Well, in their defense, okay, let's defend LSS for a second.
When's the rugby one?
The people who have these things stacked up behind them, which, hold on, I have to cover those two. I can't show those two because I might get roasted.
Was that Legions? Nice.
The people who have this stuff stacked behind them, behind a 4K camera, and thousands of dollars on shelves in cardboard, generally don't follow March Madness.
I had no clue.
Super avidly. But I disagree. I'm the weird guy. Like, I played basketball this morning, and now I'm doing this cardboard podcast with you tonight. I follow both. So it's a very interesting dynamic for me.
That's
but I don't follow
a better name for a podcast. This cardboard podcast? That is such a better name for a podcast.
It's not too late to pivot.
Welcome back to this cardboard podcast, everyone, where we talk about all things flesh and blood.
Well, no, now that you said it into the microphone, someone stole it. You got to beep it out. There's already been a YouTube channel made.
Yeah. All right. So my pro tip is to make your reservations now because everyone's going to be trying to go to the same restaurant. So
my pro tip is to go and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Don't be the guy that like, or the girl or the human, the person, the being that goes and you go 0-2 and your whole weekend's ruined. You know, you're like, oh, I put so much effort into this.
That happened in Vegas.
Yeah, but your weekend wasn't ruined. I saw you the rest of the weekend. You were having a blast. You were enjoying yourself. Don't be, and even if it's way harder if you are like the Team Ascent guys or the Team Kitchen Fable guys that you spent a bunch of time prepping for this. It's much more difficult not to let your weekend be ruined, but do your best. Remember, there's all these side events. There's a bunch of people to hang out with. There's a bunch of people to shake hands with, introduce yourself as members of the community. Really enjoy yourself. So go to this event with a positive mental attitude and know that regardless of how the game goes, it's a cool opportunity to hang out with people.
If I wanted to watch this on stream, is there a stream? Do you know?
Why do you keep doing this to me?
I'm legitimately asking the question. Is there a stream? I actually don't know the answer to this. I assume it's no based on your reaction.
No, I think there is. I don't know any information about it. And remember, I reached out about like, hey, I'd love to do casting. And everyone I reached out to was like, that's great, kid.
Yeah.
Now go run along and play. I was like, oh, okay. I will. Hold on. If maybe does LSS watch our podcast? I hope not. Did I get permission to co-stream Nationals?
You did.
I think I got permission to co-stream Nationals in an email, and I don't know if I want to ask or if I just want to do.
Co-stream is a very strong word. You mean recast. Co-stream means that you are at Nationals co-streaming with one of the content creators that they like and want to be on the thing.
You like me?
I'm just joking. The recasting would you be dubbing over them. Here's what you do. You want my advice?
I have an email.
Here's the Calling Indianapolis advice for you, Josh.
Hold on. Let me get my.
Yeah, write this down.
Go ahead.
Make it to the top table. And then cast in the
game. Cast my own game.
Shoutcast
your own game. A pummel.
And show LSS what you got, baby. Be like, Josh is really thinking right now. I can just tell based on his hand that he has a line right now. Let's see what he can put down. Let's see.
Our Viscerai table's in the tank. He's sweating. Which line is he going to take? Starvo comes in, presents Starvo. Does he have the defense? Unmovable from Arsenal. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, I would pay so much money to see that. That would be like if there was a movie, if there was a comedy based on Flesh and Blood, that would be in it. Somebody should do that.
That would 100% be in it, and all 50 people that watch that movie would really enjoy that scene.
They could call it Flesh and Blood and compete with the movie Flesh and Blood that pops up every time you Google Flesh and Blood.
That's all my YouTube videos are FAB. FAB.
Oh God!
It's so crazy. No, calling in.
Don't you love it when your mom's like telling people what you do, and she's like, he makes content for a game called Flesh and Blood.
No, my mom says he's a software engineer. She doesn't mention.
I forgot. This is not unemployed.
This is still in the cupboard under the stairs at the house, dude.
I forgot you're not. You have a real job. All right, moving on to number 3. That was.
Didn't we determine? We can't move on yet. Didn't we determine that you were Harry Potter this week?
Let's not get into that.
I thought we determined that you were Harry Potter this week.
All right, part 3. Starvo. ... Doesn't exist.
Speaking of Harry Potter, I presented you the question this week that I said I wanted to save for the podcast, and you said, no, tell me now. I'm very demanding, or I'll defriend you, and we'll never talk again. And I cried. It was terrible. But I said, let me wave my content creator wand. And this is my content creator. Oh, hold on. I have a coffee straw. Let me wave my content creator wand.
Okay.
And poof, Starvo doesn't exist. Starvo's not a thing. Starvo never existed. Starvo doesn't exist. Is there something in the Flesh and Blood community that people would complain about and say it's unfun or
there's no chase in Everfest?
Dude, but stop. Gameplay, Louis. The market section is next. This is a serious question. If Starvo was just poof gone, I used magic. Is there something that people are like, I don't like to play this game because of blank? Because right now, certain people, even the guy from Compete Sport was like, I don't like how this game is going. I don't like the direction. I quit. Is there anything out there? What do you think? Do you think if Starvo's gone, is everyone just like, oh, this is bliss and roses and happiness?
That guy's probably not feeling super good now that a Kano won the Compete Sport. Like he's probably like, dang it, if I would have shown up, I could have brought Nullrune and actually played.
Wow, you are just banging on that.
I just don't understand how it happens.
Like, relevant deck slots, Lewis. Relevant deck slots.
I don't know. As a casual player, I show up to every game with my Nullrune ready to go because I'm an adult.
Do you do this,
and I make healthy decisions.
What? How's that beer going? How's that beer going, homie? Do you do the thing though? That's like, I have trouble showing up to like Armory and casual level events around me with any kind of Kano, because I feel like as soon as I flip over Kano, because there's no like actual presentation of heroes and stuff like that at casual. I feel like as soon as I do it, everyone's like, oh yeah, my Nullrune that I keep in the 4 Nullrune. I'm like, is that in your list, or because I don't think that's in your list. I think when you go to the calling, that's not in your list. That's just in your binder next to you.
All right. So what are people complaining about? So I think there would be, and like this is why the last 2 episodes, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we have not talked about Starvo.
No, and that's why we have to talk about Starvo this time.
We have been very intentional, and
yes,
I have been very intentional on one of my other podcasts to try to not take a very strong position on Starvo because it's getting a little bit old. Like, I wish that Starvo wasn't winning as much as he is. I think that Starvo is going to be Living Legends, the first Living Legend status hero, or they will have to do something about it. I think though trading card game people just like to complain about the number one deck, and there has to be a number one deck. Now
there does.
Starvo is a little different in that it does kind of limit your, unless you're Kano, it does kind of limit your like play style. It does kind of force you into a box, like to go. But like, I think people will be complaining about Prism.
Really?
Aura Prism.
Okay, but Aura Prism is pretty soft to a, let's call it a go wide strategy, right? Things like Lexi, things like Katsu. But Katsu and Lexi, even though one of those two I think is something that might spike on some meters.
Lexi?
So, I don't know.
So the Katsu deck I've heard just can't win games. Is that accurate? Like it just can't finish. It's really powerful, really strong. It just doesn't have like that final, like the final countdown. It just doesn't have that. Ah, man, we just got demonetized. There goes $6.
I
back to drinking beer.
At least it's your $6. No, I don't know. I don't think Prism, because I've heard that argument as well. Like Prism would be the next thing up, right when it poses this question. But it's so soft to strategies that it can attack multiple times, or anything that can lean into gaining action points efficiently. That doesn't have to go out of its way. Like everything can gain action points with time skippers and Oldham and stuff like that, and lead the charge and things like that. But things that don't have to go out of their way to do it really can run over that Prism build.
Sure.
Now, the Prism build could shift. It's a super versatile hero. I just don't know. I've had a couple of people say Viserai. Viserai would be something that Starvo's keeping Viserai in check.
I don't know that it's possible to really know. I think though that like the meta would,
that's the fun.
The meta I think would be more diverse on the pre-top 8 side. Like I think it would be a little bit more. I don't think you would have one of the heroes being, because I mean look, like Briar just got a huge, like I don't know, like huge errata, huge change. Like Briar is like she's like irrelevant now, right? Like I don't know.
I don't think she is, and this is I don't know. And the problem is,
I don't think I've seen a Briar in the top 8.
Let me rephrase. I don't think Briar is, but however, the data of thousands and thousands and thousands of Flesh and Blood games is kind of declaring her irrelevant. So you're clearly correct, right? Because over these ProQuests, it's just thousands and thousands of games. This huge sample size of Flesh and Blood games. So I'm not saying that she's not, but would there just be another top dog, right? And people would just call to down with the top dog, and then when it was discovered to be the top dog, people jump on the top dog and the deck. And
I honestly think the issue with Starvo is it seems like this is the third time in a row.
Like I think the issue, I don't know about that.
I honestly think the biggest issue with Starvo for me, you think from the player side, I think from the collector side.
Sure.
I honestly think from a collection side, a investment side, the hardest part of the Starvo thing is it seems like this is the third set in a row that's had a hero that's been just straight seemingly over. Chain was you had to change your gameplay to play against Chain. There was nothing you could do. Briar, it was kind of fun to play against because it was kind of like you're on a timer trying to outclass her, but it still seemed like you had to change the way. It wasn't fun to play against. Now you have Starvo, who isn't fun, and like that's my concern is like, is Bravo the only one that's just like not like I don't see any of the other heroes that aren't fun to play against, and so like that's where I think people I don't think anybody would complain. I don't want to ever say that people wouldn't complain, because this is if this is a TCG world, and like
everyone and that's kind of my point here, right?
We complain.
There will always be something. First of all, I never complain.
Listen, man, like people complain about stuff. Right?
Yeah,
like,
of course. That's, especially when you spend this much time and effort talking about it. Yeah, you're right.
So I think there would be something. I don't think the conversation would be as strong as this, because Bravo was the new thing, and it always seems to be the new thing. Like that's the track record so far with Flesh and Blood, is that a new set, a new hero, OP, a new set, a new hero, OP. It just seems like that's the issue more than anything. You go back to the James White, the latest James White interview, and he was like, it sucks when you do a new set and you have to ban something. That feels bad. Feels bad for them, I'm sure. It also feels bad for the consumer. It feels bad for the store. It feels bad for everything. And like I think that's why everyone has an attitude right now about Starvo, is it just feels like that's the way things are.
I could get on board with that. I 100% can get on board with that. Let me react to that, if
Love
you
it.
will. What about the argument that it's non-interactive and unfun to play against? Like, it's not fun to play against, right? What do you buy into that argument?
I do, but only because of Awakening. Like it seems like Starvo is just kind of like
it's got a snap catch-up mechanic.
And it's like you're beating it, you're playing against it, you're doing good, and then they get it, and then it's like there's not pulverized for a million. Like it's just like it seems a little bit like
pulverized for a million. I want to play Starvo just so I can be like pulverized for a million, patent pending.
I mean, that's the. I think that Starvo without Awakening is probably more fun to play against than whatever. But like, I mean, look at the rest of the world. This is where people just like New Zealand must just be frustrated. LSS must just be frustrated because like they just don't play TCGs like we do. We play TCGs in the worst possible way. Americans, yet again, are just the worst. I mean, like, we just take and take and take. Like, that's all we do. We just like, oh, land, give it to me. Oh, like money, give it to me. Oh,
there's an ingrained. We're not playing for can I pull this off or can I do this cool thing? I'm playing for I want to win. And like,
that's like, I think like that's one of the problems. The way that the way that LSS approaches the game is different than the way that Americans approach TCGs. Like,
if we had some offices here.
No, but like that's like I think an issue. Like I think like, they just must be frustrated because if you look at their metas, if you look at Australia and like New Zealand and what's going on in those metas, it's like Starvo is just not as big of an issue. And then you get on Facebook and everyone who's like complaining is American. Like,
which is also the way we play TCGs. So look, we're 2 for 2.
I think they should have just kept Flesh and Blood in the New Zealand bubble and just enjoyed it before we ruined everything.
I can't tell. This conversation seems like it goes from like pro-American to anti-American back to pro-American.
Let's be very, very clear. I have American colored dice. I am Team America. In the like I am Team America 100%.
Oh, me too.
We kind of ruin everything.
Can I pause you for a second?
No.
I've always wanted to be the one to start. I'm pausing you anyway. Ready? Boop, pause. I've always wanted to be the one to start like this because we have all these nationals and eventually there's going to be worlds, right? So every time I've done like a gameplay video or the masterclass series we have coming up in the Discord and stuff like that, I want to blanket it and being like, hey, if we make the average Flesh and Blood player in America better, then the team players, the Team Kitchen Fable, the Team Ascent players and stuff like that, they get even better. And then when Worlds come around, oh, baby, we're looking to... So... to me, that I want that to be like a real and a friendly competitive thing. Let me get this straight. But I want to cast like a world event with a New Zealander, like me and a New Zealander who are friends, casting and having like jokes and going back and forth. I want to do that. I want this to be a thing.
He's not New Zealand.
I would whatever it is. I would be. I want this to be like a we want to win. Like America wants to win, New Zealand wants to win, all these other countries, they want to win these world things. I think that would be a cool environment and a cool thing that would play well on the internet.
I just want to be one of the fans that's in my like America spandex in the background of table 1.
Then I just want you here. Can I just have you back here the whole time?
Yes.
Hey, date yourself. Will you do the Numa dance? The guy?
I don't know who that is, but yes, I will go.
Yeah,
demonetized again. Boom. $6 gone.
Boom. I'll send you the $6. You can have it.
But yeah, like I don't know. I think that's honestly part of the problem. Is like Americans net deck. And like first off, listen, those of you who are listening and you are an American who doesn't net deck, I love you and I'm sorry for putting you in a box. You're not that person. There's a million people play testing, Team Kitchen Fable, all the teams.
Net decking doesn't help you that much in Flesh and Blood.
It doesn't. I get it. But like the idea, it's just my point is like it's a difference in culture. Like we will, like I think a lot
this feels like dangerous territory and I don't want to touch it.
No, like I feel like a lot of American TCG players, they don't care what, like they don't have an affiliation to Lexi. They're not going to play Lexi because it's Lexi. They're not, you know, like they're going to play to win.
Yeah,
like and like not that New Zealanders. Again, I'm not trying to put everybody in a box. I'm sure there are New Zealanders who are playing Bravo to play to win.
But you kind of are.
All right. Kind of are. That's the point of this. Like, yeah, I have to have an opinion about things.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. So
I don't think I think you're completely correct. I think there is definitely, because we did, what is it? I used to do you remember the Devastation series for Blitz? I used to react to that and we'd watch like the gameplay and it just felt vastly different. Like the gameplay, we were questioning lines, we were like questioning deck choice. It all felt vastly different. And I always just felt wrong because I'm like, oh, these are the game developers. When I'm questioning this decision, I'm just clearly wrong.
It doesn't. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just
I know you're not.
It's like
it's
just
not
the way things.
You're not saying anything bad at all. I was just giving you a hard time.
I think that's why though you see this like just stupid attachment to a hero and then anger from the community because everyone just goes that way. It's like, oh, Starvo's the best deck. All right, looks like I'm playing Starvo.
But I want to lean back into unfun to play against. I want to lean back into this because you just talk about, people are playing Starvo. Starvo's unfun to play against, and that's kind of been the community consensus. If Starvo didn't exist, I want to ask the people who win games on Kano, how much fun is Kano to play against? And if Kano is just as unfun to play against as Starvo, and we're banning or restricting or changing things based on how fun they are to play against, Kano needs a ban by that logic. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a super slippery slope. Like, oh, it's not fun to play against, so I want it banned. I don't like that argument because I always hearken to Kano. Kano's not fun to play against. It's not exciting to play against a Kano.
Hot take?
It's exciting to play a Kano.
You ready for a hot take?
Oh, no.
You ready for a hot take?
Oh, hold on.
You ready for a complete
let me finish this. Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Are you ready for a typical Louis DeGeorge response here?
That is why I love doing this content with you.
A hot take with a complete abstract number with no data backing it up. Ready? 90% of Flesh and Blood players have no clue how to play against Kano. And when a Kano comes to the table, they're just like, let's see what happens. And of those 90%, 50% have never played against a Kano.
Sick. So we insulted all other countries that aren't America. We doubled back. We insulted Americans. Now we just insulted 90% of Flesh and Blood players. Dude, we are crushing it today.
This is what I heard from people who were at the Compete Sport one. I talked to like 10 people who were at the Compete Sport, and they were all like, I just didn't know how to play against Kano.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Like, I mean, it makes sense, right? What if you came on to Flesh and Blood and Monarch? What if you came on to Flesh and Blood? How many Kanos have you played against?
Yeah.
I have, because I played back when Kano was a thing. Listen, OTK Kano was a deck in CC.
I have played a decent amount of games of Flesh and Blood. I would say more than the average person.
Oh, I vastly more, but sure.
I think I've played 2 games against Kano.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And John Cush is in my Discord and played in my Thursday Night Armor events all the time. And he's Team Kano. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't think that that's like the hero just hasn't. I would say Kano is probably the most underplayed hero in Flesh and Blood. Maybe to Like, I don't know who plays Kano. Nobody plays Kano.
If more people might play Kano, I think Azalea has louder fans.
That's fair.
So Azalea feels more represented, but might be underrepresented. But your point is valid regardless. 100%. It's
playing against Azalea doesn't require a completely different play structure.
Right. It's attack defense, and there's some dominating there. Sure.
When you show up to play against Kano, it's just different crap. You have to not play. You have to be like, no, I'm not going to play right now because he's going to kill me on my freaking turn. That is the core of your deck, exclusively Kano thing. And nobody knows what they're doing. Sorry, 90% of people don't know what they're doing.
They don't go to 100%. We can't insult everybody. I'm
not insulting. I'm not insulting. I'm insulting Kano because Kano is the guy at the party that nobody wants to play with. Kano shows up to the bar and he's over there by himself with his wizard minion friends, and nobody wants to hang out with him. And so nobody knows when he comes over and starts talking. Everyone's just like, what do we say? And then they start talking, and then Kano starts talking in the middle of them talking because he can play cards on their turn, and then nobody knows what to do with that. It's just awkward.
Dude, poor Kano in the corner with those little magic wand, like, poof. Stop it. No.
Let's not forget. I played a mean Kano and I got targeted hard in an ultimate pit fight.
Let's not forget, I made the splash art for into the pit that was never seen or used.
All right. So everyone, I would like to just make a public apology to everyone that I've insulted on this podcast.
Not you, us. We're a team.
I love you, and I hope that this has been entertaining for you or something. Are you ready to talk about the most entertaining part about Flesh and Blood?
If it's the market, I have done. So I've gotten more mileage out of this straw in this video than anything else. And I have extensively. Every time we talk about the market, dude, you're the market guy, and I do no research. And before the podcast starts, I'm like, hey, how's the market? Nudge, nudge. Give me some info. I have done extensive research about the market, but I'm still going to let you go first.
I'm curious at what extensive research you've done on the market.
I can't reveal that. Or
there are definitely some stuff moving. There's definitely there was a Grasp the Arknight Cold Foil 9 that sold for $2,500 this week, which is pretty good. That's a new kind of we've been. Huh?
You're doing no. You're doing like actual research and giving actual figures. I didn't do that.
This is what I do all day, every day.
I didn't do that. I wasn't like I didn't study for this test.
Like you should see my emails. I have every day. It emails me when a new Flesh and Blood Cold Foil goes on the market, and every day it emails me when a new Flesh and Blood Cold Foil sells from the market. I get emails when anything goes on or sales. I'm like, I've got notifications. I've got people with other notifications. I know what I'm doing. Anyway, I don't have to do the research because I live it. This is all I think about and all I do. It's really sad sometimes.
I lied to you. I didn't do any research, and I was really hoping to get by with some confidence early on.
No, like there's some stuff going. Okay. I think that there's a pocket of investors who are picking up the current stuff. I think the biggest question mark for Flesh and Blood market and investing is the new guard, right? Like the people who got in during Monarch, during Tales of Aria, during Everfest. What do they think is too expensive for a card? The people who are invested in Flesh and Blood, in WTR, Arcane, and Crew, and the big market pump and the huge, high numbers, people who were spending $50,000 for 9/5 Heart or $4,000 for raw cold foil legendaries, the class specific raw cold foil legendaries, they had money, and they were old Magic investors who could sell a alpha dual land for 4K
Tundra, yeah,
and put it into a cold foil legendary that they thought was gonna because of the supply being 833 copies, and they compared that to Magic the Gathering, they thought that they could do that, and then they thought it would sell for 15,000. They thought other Magic investors would do similar and sell off a Black Lotus. I don't know. And so like there's a lot of that, and like now we have no market upticks in 8 months. Like there's no like inflection points, right? Like we've had out of print announcements for the unlimited sets that have made the like really, if you look at it on a long enough timeline, made the value of the boxes go down for somehow.
I ordered some of these from you when they were out of print, right? There's so much stuff from Welcome to Wraith that's currently played. I picked these up thinking like I'm gonna need them, because sooner or later, if I want to draft with my friends or with anyone in the Discord, I won't be able to. It's so weird.
Yeah,
I don't mean to cut you off. It's just so weird that we got those announcements and I can still go online and buy this case of Welcome to Wraith, even though I was told it. There's just got to be a ton. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought that was fascinating.
Yeah,
I thought that was fascinating.
So like the question is like, do people who got involved at Monarch and Tales, are they ever gonna spend $2,000 for a cold foil? Is that something that they are going to ever want to do or have money to do? Like, I don't know the answer to that. I know.
I think the answer is yes, with circumstances, right? Because look at what do we always say? This game is no longer a new TCG, right? And if it's in for the long haul, if it takes the path of something like a Magic the Gathering, then yes, those things will be worth that one day. But we're talking, 30 years. Like,
right. I think like that's the question in my mind is where like the people who are new who want to buy a cold foil legendary, where does that lead? I'm talking about Alpha WTR.
Yeah. Okay.
Arc and WTR. Like the Monarch market's pumping. Like Monarch cold foil is way up. Prism. Up. What's really encouraging for the market is like people who play Prism don't like non-foil cards. They just like pretend like non-foil Prism cards don't exist, and everyone who plays Prism has to have the foil versions. And shout out
Mo Bogsley, good friend, member of Ascent, has my Prism deck that has a boatload of foils in it, because I don't know what it is. You're right. When I built none of my decks, it's just whatever chaff is lying around to fill the slots. But for Prism, I sought out the foils. Yeah. I don't know why. Why did you? Like, how do you know? Get out of my head.
And like
only Prism.
And like shout out to LSS for like being like, hey, all the judge promos are going to be high end Prism foils that everybody wants. The content creator ones, yeah, they were high end Prism cards. Like shout out to LSS.
How did they know? That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the type of like marketing that drives the market. Like it's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that stuff. The high end Prism Pro. I don't mean to cut you off again. Wow, I'm doing that a lot lately.
We're having a dialogue. I mean, you're not cutting me off for talking.
No, let's get one thing straight. When we do the market, we're not having a dialogue. I'm learning. I have a notebook. I'm writing things down. No, I do have some value in the market discussion, and I've noticed
this is great.
There's a ton of purchases and sales of high end foil Prism things, and those lots are selling. Yeah. I've seen foil Prism lots, whether it's judge promos, whether it's the content creator promos, whatever it might be, cold foils for Prism, including the Luminaris, all the legendaries, things like that. Those lots are selling. I always look at the price on these lots. And I think, well, if your lot of 3 Blood Rush Bellows for $12 or whatever isn't selling, there's no way this Prism lot is selling. And then boom, sold. Like right away. It's insane. Is that because the deck is good, or do you think it's the importance of those content creator and promo cards in there?
I think that it's got a couple things going for it for Prism.
Okay.
Number one, Prism is a attractive female hero that I think there's an element of like when you play that hero, it's like I want to foil out the deck because like the card itself, like Rhinar. I'm sorry, but like I'm not like, hey, I want to foil out my Rhinar deck. Like
Prism feels like luminous golden in a library. Rhinar feels like I'm rolling around in the mud.
And if I was going to foil out my Rhinar deck, what that might look like is having Fry the Eggs make the cards all look like they're all like rolled around in the mud and like
or like ripped up and bleeding or something cool.
Yeah, Prism's got like fancy like fancy
the robes, all the tomes and books and everything. Yeah,
it looks like something that you want to foil out.
That's fair. And all the cards have this gold element to them. Even the ones, even like the red and the blue pitch card, they have this gold element to them. So when they're foiled, man, they shine. So now, see, okay, maybe I'm understanding why that's the one deck I like.
Yeah.
I wish I could pan the camera. I searched through so much chaff of foil.
It doesn't hurt that it's like also a very valuable deck. Like that's
like
that will always like the
viable foils will always be good. Syncolo foil will always be good.
The Spring Tunic will always be the most expensive alpha legendary because it is the most played and iconic card. You can make an argument to me that the Tunic in 20 years is the most expensive Flesh and Blood card. I would almost believe that because it's iconic. I get it. The heart, the eye are iconic, but like when everyone uses the Tunic for the next 50 years, like I think you could see that. So like I think that's a notion to it. I don't know. I think the market's still in a weird place. Like I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see if somebody picks up the paper. I don't anticipate that like new people are going to be coming in with the paper to pick up the old prices. That's the question. Like, you know, we had some high rollers in our community. Matt Kalish, like there were some people with paper who honestly like Flesh and Blood's not the key investment now. Like there's like the investing side of the world has gone hard into other things. I'm not talking about TCGs. The only thing worse than saying another TCG that I could say right now is cryptocurrency and NFTs. So I won't say that that's what people are investing their money into. But if you want to actually take a look at the way that the world works, that's what's happening. It's like, why, like if you believe in,
wow, that's a subtle shot there. We're firing cans there, dude. I'm into it. I'm in.
People hate it when I talk about that stuff, but like,
I don't. Let's then you know what? I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. Not only do I own cryptocurrency, I own Metazoo NFTs.
Oh God, we're not pumping Metazoo NFTs right now.
I'm not pumping anything.
I am not handling this.
There is no pumping of anything. I'm just telling you, there's no reason to hate you for that. There's no reason to hate you for that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry.
If you think that the Flesh and Blood market is down and that now is the bottom and you have to buy the bottom, take a look at where Ethereum was when Flesh and Blood was pumping and now where Ethereum is, and like it's just an easier sell. There's a lot of risk on each side, but like the people who are like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't know what picks up the high end. My kind of focal point right now for people, if you're investing in Flesh and Blood, is like sealed boxes. Like they have held up pretty well. People are opening sealed boxes still. People are still buying box openings, and like as long as people are still buying box opening, sealed boxes are still a good. The issue is like when somebody posted a box opening that doesn't sell out. That's when I'm like, boxes are too expensive.
Sure. That could get scary. So, but from my perspective, right? Because I definitely deal with more of the player perspective. I think we have an opportunity in a perfect storm. I really do. Because if this new product, and I hate to harken back to this, but it has to do with the market. If this product crushes and it hits at a good price point and it comes with something teaching people how to play the game, and that comes out at the same time, I'm still holding the straw, by the way. If that comes out at the same time that singles for these various decks are super affordable. I do you flexed about your videos earlier. I'm going to flex about my Blitz deck budget upgrade series. $25 and we upgrade the Blitz decks, right, to be like more competitive and playable. If you can upgrade these decks for under $50, right? Like let's say you get addicted to the game and you can upgrade these decks. I think it's a situation for a perfect storm to have a giant influx of players. Not only can I get an entry-level product that hooks me on the game, but I can slowly take steps to being better at the game, having a better deck, having a better armory experience, all of that for not a ton of money, right? Aside, again, CNCs and E-Strikes are still kind of up in the air, but if I can get Blood Rush Bellows at $2 a piece and supplement my Rhinar Blitz deck, that's gigantic. That's huge. So it's like the market and the release of this product are like primed for an explosion. We just need a catalyst, and the catalyst has to be the market has to maintain, it has to be stable. It can't take another dip down, and that product has to be a hit. That's what I think.
Hot take: the market's been stable the whole time. Like,
what? I'm not the market guy. I'm confused. That statement confused. I thought it was all over the place.
We had three. We had
say Black Swan. Just say Black Swan events. Just say it. Oh.
We had a hyped up Black Swan event that didn't actually happen. Like we had 4 weeks where prices were really high. Other than those 4 weeks, everything's been about the same price on the way down to about the same price as cards were before those 4 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, like you want a more macro version of this, look at Crucible of War out of print announcement. Crucible of War boxes were $70. Crucible of War went out of print for a week and a half. Crucible of War boxes were $110. How much is a Crucible of War box today?
I have no idea.
$75.
What?
Like, yeah.
Unlimited? Okay.
Yeah. I'm using unlimited.
Okay. I hear you now. I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Like,
sorry.
The whole market had a reaction like that. Sure. We got the print running numbers, everything jumped up 200%, and now it's back down to where it was. And like, maybe like if we didn't have that reaction, I'm not saying that the announcement was wrong. The announcement's great. I want more of the announcements like that. Yes. I want more transparency on the print run. I actually might do a Monarch first edition box opening every day until they release the Monarch first edition box numbers, starting on the Monarch birthday.
When's the Monarch birthday?
May something, May 15th or something like that. May 13th, May 11th, May.
What if they go a year?
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be.
So you're going to open a Monarch box a day for a year?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're cool, dude. You're way cooler than me. I look at the couple Monarch. I have Monarch boxes and Tails boxes.
First of all, I didn't say they're all going to be from me.
Oh,
like I never said there were Louis boxes. You know, maybe some patrons want some boxes, but like, my point is, like, I love the announcement. I'm not crapping on the announcement. I'm crapping on our reaction. Like, we all listen. This guy bought a lot of crap. I bought a lot of crap during that run. I bought like somewhere between 40 and too many cold foil commons after that print run announcement from ARC WTR. Like, I had a job and I was spending all of my actual money on cold foil commons. That was stupid.
I didn't want to cut in.
Dumb. That was dumb. And the issue was, it wasn't just me. It was kind of everybody in the market. Like, we all did stupid things. And like, the question, the fact
I've got a whole stack of stupid.
Like, the fact of the matter is, everyone other than us learned from that. And now when there's an out of print announcement, nobody's like, oh, I'm going to go buy everything, because like, it didn't work. And like, now everybody's seen that.
Sure.
And so like, and the other side of this, on the high end side, is like, there is a cap, man. I know nobody wants to talk about it. There's a cap. People can't afford $300 cards.
Yes.
People can't afford $1,000 cards.
And people, not everyone who can wants. I think that's just as important, right? People who can afford, again, being from the player side, I know players that have great jobs and good money, and they don't spend their time making YouTube videos, so they're not broke, right? So they could afford these products, but what do? They experience flesh and blood through the gameplay. They don't want to buy a $500 piece of no rune. They want to buy a 5-cent piece of no rune.
That's super important, because you know what was going on when the print run announcement happened? A global lockdown where nobody could go and play the games, and everybody was still sitting in their house, and you loved Flesh and Blood. You loved it so much, but you couldn't go to your LGS and experience it. So you were sitting at your house and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy cold foil for $400. And
you also didn't have all these things competing for your attention because you couldn't leave your house, right? Now you have this, you have concerts, you have going out with your friends, you have travel with your significant other or your family or whatever competing for your attention. So while Flesh and Blood still may hold a special place in your heart, you don't sit in your office in front of your computer screen and consume Flesh and Blood all day long anymore. So that's going to lead into it too.
So like, I think now the thing is like, long term, it's great. I think the market's fine. I think like, you're just not going to see that. Like, I just don't anticipate like Like I think the $2,000 cold foil legendaries for WTR, it's like that's where it's going to be there and might
it's going to be there for
it might
get used to this.
more.
People
That
who
doesn't mean
watch the
it's unhealthy.
reserve list, people have been watching the reserve list for more than the last year or two, are familiar with this. It's just going to stay there. It's going to stay there for a long time. It's going to keep being there. You're going to have opportunity. That's where it's going to be. And one day it might change. But I think it's super interesting. Again, I just to close my thoughts, I really, really, really think it's an awesome opportunity for this cataclysmic event. And cataclysmic in a good way. This explosive event.
Oh my gosh, we're an hour and 30 minutes into this podcast. We have got to end this.
Oh, for that.
I was just about to say
really?
something else. Are we
really?
We're an hour and 30 minutes into this podcast.
Do you want to scrap this and reshoot it? We'll make it like 45 minutes.
No, I'm tired.
Can you want to edit some of this?
Cataclysmic event. Go ahead.
No, I think it's a good opportunity, like I said, for the market to be low and this product to come out and get players into the game for cheap and kind of get them hooked and enjoy the part that LSS is really promoting that I think is great. It's the gameplay, right? So I think that's awesome. We have the closing crazy comment section.
I just want to clarify. Are you saying that there's a Black Swan event coming?
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? We have the closing, but before we do, I want to shout out my man, my new probably best friend, probably better friend than you, Taylor Howe, who makes the game Legions Realms at War, has sent me a bunch of content creator stuff.
Hey,
build decks, make content with, and then give a bunch of stuff away to people after I learned, I'm learning how to play the game. And not only that, he gave me something he didn't give you. You might have your own card. You do, and that's fine. I have a hand-built deck from the man himself. He built me a competitive deck. Yeah, you have your face on a card. I get it. He built me a competitive deck and said, hey, go crush your boy Louis because we know that's what you're in this for. So, dude, huge shout out. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to experience the game. It's going to be so much fun. And this is not, I don't want to hear complaints on this podcast. I thought it was awesome that he reached out to me and said, hey, I made a game. Try it out. That's super neat. Thank you so much.
Love it.
And put my face in a card. Or like my butt. I got a good butt. Put my butt in. Closing crazy comments. Are you distracted by my butt?
No, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Oh my gosh, you were looking for your comment. You haven't picked out your comment until this moment.
Never.
I'm actually pulling it up right now. I haven't.
Shout out. My comment is Clark. I usually just kind of glance at it. Clark Jansen really enjoyed this one. Time to get on the Hometown TCG Patreon. A few random comments from throughout this episode. I listened to your podcast on Apple Podcasts. Okay, be okay with it and don't make me feel lesser for it. We all are front doors. He talks about E-Strike and CNC. There'll be even more people who will never buy a booster box again. Oh, he doesn't want that. Adding to the number of people who buy singles exclusively. The reason I selected this comment is because Clark is a longtime patron of Kitchen Table TCG, and I'm glad that he is supporting you now or as well, hopefully as well. But if he just transferred to you, that's fine. I doubt it. Clark and I hung out in Vegas, and I hope that if he goes to Indianapolis, you can hang out with Clark. He's a great guy.
First of all, Clark, if you're at Indianapolis, make sure you let me know, because not only did I see that comment and went like, oh my God, that's incredible. Because my community is not, gigantic and anonymous like yours. We're very personal and everyone knows each other.
Wow, I would not say my community is anonymous. That's very. No, I just shouted out. I have shouted out your Patreon.
I am an avid member of your community, and I love your community. I actually do. I go to your community a lot. It's kind of shameful that I go to your community so much because I'm always like, oh my God, I just like being here. It's so much fun.
Wow,
like everyone. I just said okay.
You need to move on. This is derailing fast.
I wanted to shout out Playtime TCG, who's a longtime commenter on stuff that I think we've both done. I've seen Playtime TCG and said, I like how Josh is extra chipper in this episode. And you can see in Louis' eyes that he really wants to hurt Josh. I think Louis was bitter that Josh got that nap. Couple
you were
points.
Late last week.
I
was late this week though.
Couple points to make. I did get a nap. I had spent all day drinking at a hockey game, so I wore sunglasses.
I'm so jealous of that. You spent all day drinking at a hockey game. I can't imagine. The only thing better than drinking at a hockey game is drinking while playing hockey.
Do you want to know what was even better? Hold on. I didn't pay for the tickets to the hockey game either.
Are you a hockey fan?
I am when the beer is flowing. I gotta tell you that much. No, I'm a sports fan. I like it's super fun to watch. But I do want to point out from this comment, we do go back and forth, and I've noticed because I rewatch episodes that sometimes one of us will look annoyed with the other from time to time. It is. We've been guilty of this. It has happened. Annoying. But we are friends that are just having an open-ended discussion, and imagine yourself talking to your friends. This is how you would communicate. And I think that adds a lot of value. So I'm really appreciative for that comment, and I'm really appreciative for you, dude, and that we can have these conversations and not hate each other afterwards.
I hope that everybody gets that. I hope that everybody understands that, and I hope that you enjoy it. And oh
my God, can we end this podcast?
Yeah. Hey, real talk. If you're still here an hour and a half, actually, if you were here for 20 minutes and you're not here anymore,
we have to stop doing this. We've done several episodes like this.
No, it's fine. Listen, it's fine. Who cares? This is content. Like, just make content. Freaking, what's his name? What you were yelling at me the other time for being a fan of Gary Vee. Just make content, make more content, and make more content again. He's got plenty of 2-hour videos. It's great. If you're watching us, thank you so much. Like we can just keep going now, but making content for a TCG. I know everyone thinks that we're rich like Rudy. There's been a lot of jokes about $6. Like somebody the other day was like, Louis, I know you make tons of money on your videos, but can you anyway, like
that might be my fault. I make that joke a lot.
This is a labor of love, and it means a lot to us that, like, if you're still watching an hour and a half into this, man, like, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to us, and like it's a lot of fun. I know there's been ups and downs as content creators,
and all arounds,
but like we make this content because we love this game. And we love this game because of the game, but also because of the relationships that we've found, and also because I like cold foils. So
and with that being said, this is the outro, guys. Thank you for watching episode 9. Next week, episode 10, children's birthday party themed. Louis gonna wear a hat. We're gonna buy him a piñata, smash his face in cake. It's gonna be insane.
We're gonna talk about Pokemon. Can't wait. Thank you for watching.
On episode 10, we're going to talk about no flesh and blood, by the way.
No, we can't do that. I can't have another podcast that starts a flesh and blood podcast. It turns into not a flesh and blood podcast.
Now we have this cardboard podcast.
Do you want to start a third podcast? I was just thinking the other day that I need a third podcast on my channel.
This cardboard podcast.
All right. I'm gonna buy the website right now. All right, have a great day, everyone. Remember to be kind to the people around you. Go subscribe to Josh's Patreon, and we'll see you again next video.
Go subscribe to Louis. He's awesome.